Howdy guys, Jimmy Song here. In this video, I'm going to talk about two bets that were offered to me and have still not been agreed to. And I want to talk a little bit about that because I want to call those guys out. First bet was at Consensus earlier this year, Joe Lubin. And I've been trying to get a hold of him for a long time. Finally, Laura Shin sometime in August got a hold of him. Hey, let's do a show together. Let's finalize the bet. We went on the show, and of course, at the very end, Joe says, "Well, I need to get back to my people and figure out what's going on before I agree to any of the terms." That was over a month ago. We are currently like 5 weeks after that. He has not responded to any email. The guy is just simply not interested. So what the hell, right? Like, he's the one that offered the bet on stage and said, "I will bet you any amount of Bitcoin that you are wrong." Instead, he just sort of, goes off and does whatever, completely ignoring what he said. So what does that tell you? Well, the instinct that I have, and this is my suspicion, is that he knows that, there aren't going to be DApps. Not in 5 years, probably not in 10 years, not in 20 years. And part of what makes him very hesitant is because he realizes the math. But he has to keep this fiction that, DApps are going to be a thing because his company Consensus is based on that whole premise. But he doesn't want to bet because then he'd lose a lot of money. And part of this whole betting thing, and this is something that I've been told by various people, numerous people, as a matter of fact. One of the things that he said on the Laura Shin show was, why only that little, right? That's the typical behavior of somebody trying to get out of a bet. It's, okay, well, I want to bet way more than you want to, or I am just, I want the conditions to be perfect to my liking. That's where their way of that's their out of the bet without losing face. It makes them seem like, they're more brave than they are. And I suspect that's the case with Joe, is that, he made this bet on stage, and he wants some way to get out of it so that he keeps his company intact. He doesn't, cause sort of like a crisis of confidence over there. And at the same time, sort of, be able to brush off this thing. But I don't go away that easily. If you offer me a bet and you're not keeping up your word, I'm going to use it to my advantage. And Joe, if you are not betting, then what does that tell all your employees at Consensus? You do not believe in them. You do not believe in any of their projects. That is what you're telling them. And if you're a Consensus employee, how do you reconcile that? This guy who's been telling you the whole time that he believes in your project, that he thinks that you are going to be a decentralized application that a lot of people are going to be using, he won't even bet on your thing with a guy like me, right? With some objective metrics. Instead, he just wants to pump the coin. That's all he wants to do. That's what he's about. I think he's a pumper and dumper. He gets he gets projects that are quote unquote interesting to the market, and then he tries to get them pumped up so he can dump them and make some Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever it is. That's his strategy. So to me, that tells you all you need to know. I've been trying to get a hold of him, but it's been 5 weeks, man. It's been 5 months really since Consensus. The guy's simply not betting, and it's a shame because I thought he had more integrity than that, but it seems he doesn't. The other bet is with Roger Ver, and he offered that to me on the cruise earlier this month. Now we've been chatting somewhat back and forth, but he stopped responding. And I suspect this is because the Bitcoin Cash price went down. Now, it pumped again, but he just doesn't want to do the bet, probably because of the second clause that I asked for, which is if the price of Bitcoin Cash goes below 0.005, which is 200 Bitcoin Cash per Bitcoin, then for 30 days, then I win the bet. Or if it's the other way, then he wins the bet. And he doesn't want to do that. Now, why would he not want to do that? it's because he suspects that that might happen. That's a very real possibility, and he doesn't want to lose the money. And it's that also has been now like 3 or 4 weeks. It shouldn't take that long to get back on something that you publicly proclaim. Now, I don't think the guy actually believes what he's saying, right? He's been telling everybody that Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin and all this other ridiculousness, and all that stuff. He doesn't actually believe it because he doesn't want to bet, and that's pretty clear to me in everything that he said. He doesn't want to really reply to emails. He's, I've asked him for updates. I pinged both of these guys over and over. They just don't want to bet. That's all it is. I will applaud, though. There are other people that are actually willing to bet, and they're actually willing to put some skin in the game. Now, there are people that are like, oh, their investments are their skin in the game. Well, you don't actually know their investments, right? Nothing's actually been proven about their investments. Like Joe might be investing in a lot of ICOs, but who knows when he's dumping them for more coin that he actually wants. To me, that's not a very convincing argument that their investments are enough because, well, we haven't verified them. And second, if they really want to put some, you got to be willing to put some teeth behind your words. If you're saying Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, then you should be willing to bet like that's the case that people will figure out later, right? Like that would be the logical thing. Anyway, there have been other people that I've challenged the bets that just refuse to take me up on it, and that's largely because they know too that Bitcoin is the real thing. Almost everything else is not. Hope that helps you. Let me know if you have connections to either of these guys and ping them. I've had Consensus employees that are like, yeah, I don't understand why he hasn't bet you yet. I've had Bitcoin.com employees be like, yeah, he'll get back to you. He hasn't. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? These guys that you believe in might not believe quite as much as you do. Anyway, this song is done.